Good morning, good morning. It is the Poetry Studio over here in, adjusting my sound, over here in Winchester, Virginia. It is 7 a.m. It may be early by you, it may be not. You may be watching this in the future. You may even be watching this in the past, though I'm not sure how that could happen. This morning's going to be a little bit of a short show. I've got an early appointment this morning, so I will not be able to do a lot of poetry, but I'll be able to do some. That whole point is getting on here, getting after it, and just getting a little bit done. Good morning, Fool Killer. Good to see you. I see we have some other people watching in, some people potentially lurking. Thank you so much for being here this morning. Yeah, I got the chance to listen to the new Akira the Dawn album yesterday. I didn't get the chance to tune in to any of the live streams yesterday. I was there for a little bit in the evening, but things just got, taken away, off track. Man, it could just get crazy. But it was really, really something to be to be able to listen to the new album from Akira. I really liked it, and then when it hit the end of the album, I was really brought to emotion, to tears, because it was just a wonderful masterpiece, and really got to the heart of some of the core philosophies that I have. And I'll probably be writing about that a bit, because I think that it was kind of a gateway to be able to praise some of the things that I kind of do subconsciously. The fact that all life is a miracle is really heralded in that song, and heralded in my poetry. That's kind of one of the core things that I love. I love the fact that it's an amazing thing that we as people are able to just kind of come together and do what we do. Really, really special. But for now, I think I might actually start the stream off with that poem. Kind of thinking, and a reflection poem, a short little work on the album. Not necessarily on the album itself, but on the concept of being able to bear suffering and make it meaningful. I have been, in my own life, I have my own mental health challenges that I go through, and I've been doing pretty well with them, but I'm kind of hitting the walls of my abilities, is the way that I would put it. Not necessarily totally giving up on the entire enterprise. It's just more that one is challenged when going through that. I'm going to say that just very carefully, and I'm kind of learning and testing the limits of myself, where I've come from, what I've dealt with, what I've become. And you don't get to choose those things. And so the fact is it sometimes can be very difficult. It can be very hard. But the great thing about being a poet and knowing it is that you're able to kind of work through those things, articulate them, write about them. So I guess it's funny because I talk a lot about having finished my process poetry phase, but maybe I'm not totally done yet. This one hit different. And I hope it doesn't sound dismal. I don't think it sounds dismal, but it doesn't sound hunky-dory, I'll say that. Barrett is the title of the poem. A billion teeny atlases breaking backs among the inheritance of mind misused in history. What is this mystery but to live as humanity? Question, 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 quietly piercing all hope. I will rest here. I will buffer storms. I will carry my cross with the concealing smile. And blink to refocus to see we were never apart. We were never different when we remove the twittering megaphone. How we tear our seamless garment, how we bleed from the mouth, pull and push our misgivings over the primordial fire of an animal still becoming man. This is one of those poems that I think is starting into something. Not that I need more projects, because I have one on here, I have a couple on here, but I definitely like this. I think you forget that we are biologically descent from animals. It's an incredible thing when you think about it, that our bodies, minds, hearts, communities function the way they do. And that kind of shone through to me last night with the album, which I listened to in the evening before the actual album release party, which I didn't get to make. Barrett. There's a lot of potential in that one. I haven't written by request in a while because I skipped Pat last weekend going out on the walking mall, but this weekend I'm going out on the walking mall, and I'm very, 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 didn't I mention very excited? Part of the thing that writing for people does is it gets me out of my own head. Oh goodness, I didn't even put the camera on myself when I did that reading. We are the animals. We are the animals. You are, Leaky Old Man, but good to see you. You are repeating something from something, and I do not know what it is from. What is that from? We are the animals. We are the animals. Goodness gracious, I wish I knew the reference. But that, whatever that is that is accurate. It's from a poem you wrote. Oh, that's so cool. That's so cool. Yeah. You don't. Oh goodness, it's one of the things I love about poetry is that there's themes everywhere that can be explored. I am going to actually write that down on here, not leaky. We are the animals. Because I feel like poetically I want to explore that theme more. I need to read it on your stream. Yeah, send it over. I'll review it and see if the content is good, which usually it is. As long that I would love to read that. Yeah. And how have I been? I have been really, really good. Relatively. I've been up and down. You say something like, "Oh, I'm really good. I'm doing great." Da, 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 da. But like, then you kind of think about it, like, well, oh, I read it on my stream. Was that one of the ones I already read on the stream? Oh, that's good. That's really good. Goodness, I have trouble keeping track of things and remembering things. If I read it on the stream already, then it's a good poem. But yes, and I remember those other ones I was able to read were awesome. Yeah, I haven't been doing as much reading of poems on the stream because it just takes a lot of time to plan it out, coordinate with people. Yeah, that's why I remember it. Muscle memory of the soul. It takes a lot of time for me to plan out. So if somebody sends me poetry, I'll read it. But if somebody doesn't send me poetry, I won't read it. I maybe should just put that out as a public call. Like, hey, like, let me know if you want me to read poetry. Make it easier for people to send over poetry. But yeah, I have been, spirits are, things have been getting better in my life, but it's one of those things that it seems like it's like, things get better and they're getting better and then you get whacked down and then you get right back up again. Both professionally and personally. And it's a bit of a slow season for the poetry because of the winter. Like, I'm going to go type on the walking wall today for at least 2 hours. It's freezing. It's going to be freezing. It's going to be about 30 degrees. And Leaky Old Man Butt says, and trying to get lung strong so I can get through a full song. Also been teaching streamers how to write songs. That is awesome. That's really, really, really good. I think that's awesome that you've been doing that. Man, that's really incredible. A friend of mine and I have been tossing around the idea, and time has just been the thing, of starting kind of a working artists highlight once a week talk show. We'd love to, be able to highlight what you've been doing and talk about your work and stuff. We'll get to that. Let's put a pin in that idea and think about it. But yeah, because we think that it would be really good to kind of have a show that talks about the artists, because everybody's an artist. I'm an artist, you're an artist. We're all arting. But like something to kind of like take a more of a top-down view of it and then kind of incorporate the themes that the community that we share, the Meaning Wave community, that we find in those songs, that we find in all that. So, and you got a book published and 2 songs published, man. That's awesome. That's really, really, really good. And you sold 25 songs to a record label. Holy crap! Wow, man, that's really good. And that's the great thing about, and I've been that way too. It's not like I've stopped. I love seeing, and I think part of what I would love this show to be about is I'd love to see people that just keep going, that life hits hard, quarantine hits hard. I don't even know what your health issues are from what you've described. It's gotta suck, and you just keep going. Well, thank you. He says, I know you haven't. Yeah, I haven't really stopped either, and I think it's good. I think that the point is that, yeah, it's good. And I had, I didn't stop, but I did have a 10-day hiatus when my laptop broke. But the cool thing is I came back stronger than ever because I now have 2 computers. Like I was always basically working off of my laptop. And then I found someone that was selling a small computer, and now I have a computer here and a computer here. And as a result, I'm able to kind of preview what's going on actual Twitch while at the same time as having the Streamlabs open. And it's just great. It's fantastic. Well, thank you. It means a lot that you say that it's inspirational. It really does. It's really awesome. And what I'm doing today is I am typing up some haikus, retyping them, and creating a little bit of a run of them for this wedding venue so that they could give them out to potential people are looking for vendors, and I could type at those weddings and get paid and, do the whole working artist thing. I'm starting to try to ramp up on Valentine's Day. And it's going slower than I thought it would. You should have written a poem about a broken laptop. You know what? That's what I'm going to do tomorrow. I'm going to write that poem about a broken laptop because I do have... Leaky says, I wrote a song about everything that has been going on in this country. I wrote a Charge in the Light Brigade-esque styled poem about somebody using a typewriter in the Senate Hall to write a new constitution, and the quandaries and terrible and horrible futures that could have resulted from that. And yeah, everybody, I think artists have definitely all been creating around the moment. But I've now been taking a very strong step back from politics. I actually wrote yesterday a little bit about some political issues, but didn't write overtly about them. Just kind of wrote about how one needs to let go of things, how they're happening. Produced it into a song called "The Cost of Freedom." I love that, man. If you could seize on that moment and write that, that's really good. Well, I made a note, Fool Killer. Ooh, I want to read this out. All right, let's load this music. So the first verse, and I'm just reading it. I'm sure that in its song version, it is much better. This is the first verse of Leaky Old Man Butt's song called "The Cost of Freedom." Hear the screams and the static. Sat back watching it go into full panic. I can hear them plotting against me. Never saw it coming, couch-locked rotting within me. They be stealing my dreams. Never had a chance to bounce back and subvert the sovereign antiquities. Laid off and convert. That is fire. That is insane. Couch locked, rotting within. Never saw it coming. Couch locked, rotting within me. They be stealing my dream. Couch locked is, I think, my favorite phrase in there because it's so modern and so true. Like what I was thinking about a little bit when all the stuff was happening, the Capitol. Not to go into it, but like, I remember thinking that there was a there was a phrase, there's an oft-said phrase, which is the revolution will not be televised. And I still don't really know how I think about that phrase. And I don't really even know its origins. But what was weird was that it was almost like I was watching the revolution being televised. I was like, what is going on? And it was surreal. And we are probably going to have some sort of, I don't want to get too into the nitty-grits of that. And even so, like, when yeah, exactly. Whenever we were caught in the craziness anyway, I remember watching the initial news about the coronavirus was couch locked. You may have just coined a phrase that's gonna that I may put in my library of phrases. It's a really good phrase. Man, that really cool, really good first verse. Great job. That's how my my poem about the typewriter in the Senate Hall felt. And I'm not going to read it because it's political content that I want to keep off the stream, but I posted it to my Instagram, and it was one heck of a poem. It was let's actually see if I can link you that Instagram. My editor thinks it's needs a lot of work, and it may not describe the. Oh, and should maybe go to my Instagram and look for it. My editor doesn't think it's going to properly describe the moment when we reflect on it. Like, he's not being mean about it. He just thinks that, he wants me to be the best writer I can be, and he's like, be concerned about having something like that. Like, the structure was good, and the styling was good. Here we go. But I can send that to you as a link. I don't want to record that into the video. But I'd love to get your thoughts on it one day as I finish up these haikus, which I have to do. Leaky, it's so good to talk to you. I'm going to jump back onto the typewriter here. I'll be on and off in the chat, but Oh, this one, and I'm typing, was the one where L.J. Gibbons, I think, said he used the word shindig, and I worked it into a haiku. Goodness, that's super dramatic. Leaky says, a few friends have said that the song was dangerous to release right now. Thought it could land me in jail if the country keeps going in the direction it's going. Yeah, it's, you know what it is it's important to write. It's going to sound really interesting coming out of my mouth. Today is the day of controversial opinions being casually mentioned. But it's important to write with a level of ambiguity. Not to not do the truth, but to understand the fact that there are commonalities between both sides. And those are the things that I think a really good writer can walk between the two of them and bring meaning to not everybody, but more than just partisanship. Because I don't think anybody really values. I would hope. I'm going to rephrase that. I would hope that people don't just value partisanship. There are some people that do. That's the thing. Is when more people value partisanship than bipartisanship, that's when suddenly we fall into something like a civil war or something like that. I mean, that's just the way that society goes. That's not a controversial opinion. It's history. So most people value bipartisanship to some level, even if it's a grumbling, gritting teeth, oh, this sucks type of bipartisanship. And so the writer either, if a writer can, obviously a writer should be true to their beliefs. That's the most important thing. But when it comes to terms of survival as an artist, if that's too dramatic of a term, but I think that you're kind of in that mindset right now. For me, it's about writing so that you don't necessarily pin yourself to too hard or too concrete on too specific of a side. But what you do is you write about the human condition, as any writer does. You write about the truth of the human condition. And so as a result, you're writing about, I'm writing about the country, but I'm also writing about people. And so for me, it's not partisan. And that's where I stand on it. And I'm not saying, and you know what it is there is something very noble about, let's say, activist and protest poetry. In fact, I've done some of it. But I wouldn't say that's my main course. And I don't want it to be my main course. And it kind of feels like putting all your eggs in one basket when you do that all the time. Which I know you don't, because I've read your other stuff. But there's some artists that I follow on Instagram, great artists, love them, that are very activist, that they're very into that. And if that's what they want to do, that's great. It puts them in such a risky position, both professionally, personally, that frankly, I admire that they walk that path. I think that's absolutely wonderful. I think there are times, he says, when you have to pick a side. And in The Cost of Freedom, I picked a side. I think it's the best thing I ever wrote, and it's a huge risk. Yeah, I think that, and that is extreme. That's one of the most noble things that one can do in a situation like that. So, more power to you. And regardless of the side you picked, I'm excited to ultimately one day hear the full version of it being done in concert halls and places and radio because I am sure that it will get to the top. Sure, feel free to email me. I've been rather busy as of late, but I promise I will take a look at it eventually. And I would love to read it. I would be honored. Yeah, I'm comfortable with reading anything in email privately, which is where I think you want to keep that. And I have rarely cursed in poetry. I've done it like twice, and that's the thing is if you know, for me it's sparing is powerful, because when you know when to hit it with that word. Yeah, but I'm sure that a song about that deserves more than its own share of vulgarities because it's so crazy. Oh yeah, I probably should put my email in my info. Yep, that's it. Well, if the first verse is any indication, I really do like the flow a lot. Foolkiller, are you talking to me or are you talking to our leaky old man butt in terms of the aim in the near future? With me, my aim is to have gigs around Valentine's Day weekend and to make that my big artist payday. I think that's a great question to ask anybody. Good morning, good morrow, says LJ Gibbons. We are going to be wrapping up very soon here, LJ. I got an early morning appointment that I'm probably going to be late to at this point. Oh no. Typo, but it's alright. I'm gonna keep it. This instrumental from the Goggins album is incredible. Well, the one that was before this. This instrumental is also incredible. I love this one. Oh no, another typo. That was easy to fix. God, typos today. Wow, this one is actually riddled with them. This one's garbage. Done. As my typewriter moved? Why does my typewriter keep moving? The whole point of the pad that I bought is that the typewriter would not move. That is the point of the pad. Bad typewriter. Behave typewriter. Oh, a cool thing I can show you guys. We got some people here. This right here is what my... Oh, let's maybe lower the sound a little bit. This right here is what it looks like, where it looks like when I type on the street. This is a card of a painting that someone did right around where my busking spot is. And what's cool is I put it here so that when I'm typing at the desk, it's like I can imagine the moment, the feeling and the emotions that I get when I'm typing outside on the Winchester walking wall. Fun little place. And I actually, believe it or not, that building is now a co-working space where I work. So when I need to get away and I need to write emails in peace, I run to that place called In a Vault. A friend of mine there and I are going to actually work on creating a new business idea. Oh, sure. I mean, that sounds cool. I'll definitely check it out, Leaky. I appreciate it. I might just do a read or pull excerpts, but I think that's really cool what you're doing. And the cool thing is that on the potential new show that a friend of mine and I are brainstorming, that one definitely, you know, we don't think we'd be doing a lot of content filtering there. I mean, we do some, of course, but not anything crazy. So we might be able to feature it there if that's something you'd want. Just thinking aloud. Yeah, the funny thing is the poem that I wrote about the typewriter in the Senate Hall was also one of those that like took me hours. Like literally, I think it took me like 4 hours to pull the thing together. Like it was a lot of editing, and I was actually kind of hurt when my editor said that he didn't think it was published ready. I was like, but this is the greatest work I've ever known. But I trust his judgment, but I was very proud of it. But those clear, I don't want to call them necessarily political, but those sharp historical moments can be huge moments for creative insight. Haikus are done. The two that I did today were Number 179. Love is in the air. Breeze suggests heaven so rests in sun-kissed romance. And number 180. All had a good time, mystic mirth and sweetest wine. A shindig so fine. Thank you all for being here today. We had Fool Killer, Leaky Old Man Butt, and LJ in the chat. Leaky Old Man Butt is continuing to drop the amazing words in words of his song in the chat. Forefathers, shout me a verse. Nothing is safe, not even our church. Ooh, wow, that's powerful. And I don't know if you are referencing the four horsemen of the apocalypse there, but I caught that. An accidental reference? That's pretty cool. Or maybe it's on purpose. And the forefathers, of course. That line is a powerful one. That's a really good one. You said no, but the fact is it's an accidental. Oh, the Route Rushmore. That's true. But my mind went to the four horsemen of the apocalypse, which is not, I think, a bad thing. I think those accidental references could be good too. Not saying that they're the four horsemen of the apocalypse, but like I'm getting only snippets of your song. We'll talk more in email. Thank you again for sharing your words. Really cool looking. Thank you, LJ, for your kind words. And Fool Killer, appreciate your question about the aim. Live in the day, my friends. It's a wonderful day. Have a great day. And I'll see you tomorrow morning, 7 a.m.